Section 4.6 is all about isosceles triangles and also equilateral triangles, because equilateral are a type of isosceles triangle. So in anatomy of an isosceles triangle, we've got it diagrammed here. Isosceles triangles have two sides that are congruent, and in turn they also have two angles that are congruent. The angle that's not one of the ones that is congruent is called the vertex angle. And for our purposes, we're typically going to stand the shape on this side and call it the base. So the isosceles triangle theorem says if AB is congruent to BC, then A is congruent to C. So if sides are congruent, angles are congruent, and then the other way works as well. If the angles are congruent, then the sides are congruent as well. So let's take a look at this. I know the two sides are the same, which means it's isosceles, and since the two sides are the same, the angles are also the same. So if one of the angles is 2x, so is the other. Angles in a triangle all add up to 180. So 4x plus 40 is equal to 180. 4x equals 120. X is 30. So remember, triangles are always going to add up to 180 degrees. We got to use isosceles triangles now to start being able to duplicate in angle measurement. Let's take a look over here. In this figure, LP is congruent to RL, and BR is also congruent. So we have two isosceles triangles. We have a small isosceles triangle over here, and then we have a bigger isosceles triangle down here. Angle LRB over here is 34 degrees. Let me write that outside the triangle so we can see it. So that one's 34 degrees. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to use this small triangle to find x. And x is going to be both of those, because I know that since it's an isosceles triangle, both of those are the same. So 34 plus x equals 180. 2x equals, I'm going to take 180 and subtract 34. I get 146. So x is 73. Remember, we're just solving equations just like we have this whole time. Nothing's changing there. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to use the fact that this one here is 73. I'm going to use that to find y. X and y are next to each other. They're a linear pair. So x plus y is 180. So 73 plus y equals 180. That tells me that y is 103. Now, since that's 103, I'm going to use that to find angle LRP and angle LPR. We're going to call both of those Z. Again, triangle adds up to 180 degrees. Oops, 180 degrees, not 108. So 2z plus 103 equals 180. I'm going to subtract 103. 2z equals 73. And when I divide by 2, I'm going to get that z equals half of 73, which is 36.5. So both of these 36.5. That's 73. I forgot to mark that one as also being 73. So I tried to color code it. We're going red first, then to green, then to blue, then to purple. Let's take a look at this one. The measure of one of the base angles of an isosceles triangle is 45 degrees. I'm going to stop right there. That's going to help me draw my picture. The base angle of an isosceles triangle is 45 degrees. That tells me this one. And since it's an isosceles triangle, that tells me that one also. The question is asking, let's mark this too, what is the measure of the vertex angle? Vertex angle is the one that is not congruent. It's the one between the two congruent sides. Oops. Let's go back because that's the second time now in this video that I said triangles add up to something other than 180. I'm going to get x is 90 degrees. So this angle up here, I didn't draw my picture to scale, is 90 degrees. So it's actually a right triangle because we have one 90-degree angle. So equilateral triangle theorem. An equilateral triangle is also equiangular. All the sides are the same. All the angles are the same. So the measure of each angle, let's go ahead and draw this. Let's do that. Since all the sides are the same, I know all the angles are the same. So 3x, because each one of these, let's call them x, equals 180 degrees. I got it right that time. Each angle in an equilateral triangle is 60 degrees. So let's try an example with that. Given the diagram below, find the value of x. We know I could write this is 6x and this is 6x and do 6x plus 6x plus 6x equals 180. Or, because I see that it's an equilateral triangle, because these are marked, I know that that one angle, 6x, is equal to 60 degrees. 60 divided by 6 gets us x is 10.